Welcome to a short introduction on how to write a professional CV for your next job application. Let's look at a few general thoughts. The structure of your CV should be very clear. It should be self-explaining and well arranged. You will not get a job just because of the structure, but you might lose one because of an unclear layout. At your stage of life, 2 pages of A4 sides are the maximum you should hand in, but you don't need to reduce it to 1 page only. The font you choose for writing your CV should be easy to read, not smaller than 9 or 10 points, so rather 11, maybe 12 points, with slightly higher titles and subtitles. Make sure that your CV does not contain any mistakes in grammar and spelling. Let it cross-check by someone else who has not written the CV for you. Try to choose concise and short formulations to make it much easier to read and understand. And finally, the CV is about yourself. Authenticity is key. Try to be yourself. The CV contains a little bit of personal information and obviously a photograph. The photograph should be made of professional quality, high quality, and you should wear adequate clothes for the job you're applying for, and you should also use a neutral background. In your personal data, you will include your name and your first name. You will include the full address, your date of birth, your nationality, and if it is a foreign nationality, you will also say a word about your working permit. You will include your mail address, and here it makes more sense to use a serious email address than to use funny addresses. And if you have a known LinkedIn profile, you will provide a link to this profile. You can add a short profile of your person at the very top of your CV. It helps highlighting personal characteristics or strengths, but you have to tailor this short profile to the position you are currently applying for, which also means that you would need to rewrite it for another job application. At the very top of your CV, you will then have your education. It is shown in anti-chronological order, starting with the most recent education or training at the very top and then going back in history. You will include major steps, but you should avoid unnecessary details. Exchange semesters, major fields will be included, but you will not give all the subjects you have taken at university. Public schools can be reduced to one entry only. Professional experience follows second. Once again, it is shown in anti-chronological order. You give the company name, and if the company is not known, you might want to add a short profile for this company. The main tasks are the most important thing. It's not so much about the company, but it's much more about what you did at this company. You will write that in concise and precise wording, using what we call active verbs. So instead of writing development of contacts or as concepts, you will rather say developed concepts, led a department, wrote, reported, created, and so on and so on. The CV can also include student jobs, like what you did in a semester break. You can add that especially on a bachelor's level. It's not going to qualify you for a position, but it shows that you worked and that you gained some experience. You will continue with extracurricular activities. Here you can mention activities where you actively gained experience outside education and job. Typically, this can be in associations, it can be in student organizations, and so on. But you had an active role, you were not just a very passive member there. It gives you a little bit of extra qualification for a future job. You will then continue with language and IT skills. For this, you will choose the languages and the skills which are relevant for the open position. If you have further qualifications, you might want to add them, but be aware that they're not going to qualify you for the specific job. If possible, you can use a common framework for reference, such as the European language scale of A1, A2, B1, and so on for languages. For IT skills, you will not just write MS Office because that's a very big suite. You will also include the special programs which you know or not, like Word, Excel, and so on. And one word about how high you self-assess your competences. You might be checked for your competences in your job interview, so be honest about what you know and what you do not know. You finally finish your CV with personal interests, your hobbies, where you can add up to 5 hobbies that are important to you. They will not qualify you for the job, but they will serve as an icebreaker in the job interview and they will tell a bit more about your personality. Try to be specific. In most of the CVs, you can read reading, traveling, or sports, but they do not tell anything about you. And hobby means that you invest time and passion. If you read once in a while, it's probably not a hobby. It is only a hobby if you do it regularly and intensely. References can be provided on demand. I would not provide them on your CV just to make sure that you keep the control on who is going to be contacted. That was the short introduction on how to write a professional CV. If you have further questions, we are happy to help you. Here you can find a list of addresses, how you can get in contact with us. Thank you very much and see you soon.